Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's town hall. My name is Katrin. I'm the manager for the member communities in the DACH and Benelux region, and I'll be your host today for today's town hall. And thank you for joining us. I'd like to start the town hall by giving you a brief update on some community activities that we've had in the past few months, and introduce you to Dan Wensley, our new CEO, who is joining us all the way from Canada. Dan will talk to us about his first couple of weeks with GTIA and how he sees plans for the future of our Global Industry Association. But before I start, I would like to point out also how you can ask questions. And if you go to the top of Teams, you see the button Q&A. So that's where you can ask your questions throughout the town hall, which we will get to later on in the Q&A section. But I would also like to talk about some highlights that we've had in the past 6 months in the community, especially in the European region, seeing this is the town hall for Europe. So we had in February the very first community event taking place as GTIA. And it was a special event because it was our very first meeting that took place as GTIA, just a few weeks into being called GTIA. And we had, for the first time, the Genius Cafe that we also offered at this community event, which was a great success. All the slots were booked out, and it's something that we want to continue doing because it seems that you, as our members, really enjoy having this at community events as well. So in March, we had the UK and Ireland community event, and this one was in Dublin. And we had quite a few new members join us from the Irish region after that event as well. And we had a lot of positive feedback and great attendance at this event. We also offered the MTC. Now, most of you probably know, and that's the Managing the Technology Channel, part 1 training for our vendors and distributors. And this was also greatly received, and it's something that we also offered in the Benelux region, and we want to continue doing that as well. So in mid-May, we had our DACH community event in Munich, and this was also a very interactive with lots of workshops and World Cafe sessions as well, and it was really well perceived again, also by the press that was there. And you can actually see MJ here talking to some of the journalists that were at the event. So we are now approximately 6.5 months into the year, but also around 6 months since we've been calling ourselves GTIA. And there's quite a lot of things happening. Next week, for example, we've got the UK and Ireland Community Forum and Spotlight Awards taking place in Manchester. And this is actually an event I personally look forward to a lot. It's really something that, it's personally, I really enjoy it. It's great fun, and it's a whole day filled with information, and in the evening, a very nice event where people dress up and the community connect. So again, if you have any questions throughout this town hall, just a reminder, go to the Q&A. If you're in Germany, don't look for Q&A, look for F&A, which is like Fragen und Antworten. So obviously, Teams sometimes can be confusing with that, but you have the opportunity to ask questions, and we will get to those later on during the town hall. Now with this, I would like to actually say, Dan, thank you for joining this town hall today, and thank you for joining us all the way from Canada, Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken. And I think you've got something really great to look forward to next week. It's going to be your very first community event since you've joined outside of North America, I believe. So yes, welcome.
Thank you, Katrin. It's I'm very much looking forward to next week. I will, full disclosure, I pick up my new tuxedo at 4 p.m. in Vancouver today, start some travel next week, and we'll end up in Manchester. So very much looking forward to joining the community and having the conversation with you today. Quick introduction of myself for those who may not know me. I am a 30-year veteran and student of this industry. I joined in 1995 into the IT services channel. into MCI WorldCom and selling T1s back in the day, and ran the first ever channel organization for MCI WorldCom in Canada back then. So that was my entrance into the IT services channel. Since then, I have been blessed to be, again, a member of this community, a member of this industry for that 30 years. I've had the privilege of working with some of the greatest innovative companies, people, and integration partners throughout that 30 years. It's just been an incredible journey. I've been a 20-year member of CompTIA, or GTIA, as we are now known. Served 3 years on the board with MJ between 2015 or 2012 and 2015. And again, just been blessed to be a part of this community, and culminating in really what this role now represents as CEO of GTIA. And I'm very excited to both share some of the thoughts we have about where GTIA is going now, 6 months into our rebranding. MJ and I were in Denver together last week on the 6-month anniversary with a big team. So very excited. I worked as CEO of ScalePad, Passportal, and many other companies. But again, this is really a culmination of everything that I've done over the last little while. And it's really exciting to be here. What I wanted to share with the communities today and over the next couple of days is some of our first 90-day priorities. Again, MJ, the entire GTIA team have done such an incredible job with the transformation, now 6 months old, from our former brand into the GTIA. And I'm also extremely blessed to hear the feedback of what that transition has meant for everybody, and also saw it firsthand last week in Denver with literally hundreds, if not thousands, of members. Over the first 90 days, we established some pretty clear priorities, and this went into, if you can go back one slide for me, Louisa. There's one where Louisa and I are keeping a scorecard and how many times I have to ask her in advance. I'm not in control of the slides, so appreciate that. Over the first 90 days, there was really 4 areas of focus for us. One was to ensure alignment of leadership and establish direction, and define some outcomes for our members and for us as an organization. Engagement with members will remain paramount, primarily to listen and learn. Although I've been a member and a participant in this community, it's imperative on all of us to continue to listen and learn. And Katrin and I, in conversations over preparation for this, are very anxious to hear your feedback out of your communities. Strengthen the industry relationships. This is something that we really feel is an important aspect of what we're doing, certainly on a global basis, with some of the partners and other industry or organizations, and you'll hear more about that today, as well as elevate our community, our events, our membership, and ChannelCon. Again, elevation for me was a brand new tuxedo, so I didn't think I'd break out my 22-year-old tuxedo that I've had. So it was time, and I thank you for that. I spent the first week, and after months of conversation with the hiring committee and with the board and taking on this role, and was able to join the board meeting even prior to the public announcement of me joining as CEO. And again, it's been incredibly gratifying to see the alignment through that process of what was possible for this organization moving forward. And we had a great couple of meetings and a couple of days at the board meeting most recently, and now it's time for action for us to put that into practice for everybody. The executive team, of which I am blessed to join. Certainly MJ, who you'll hear from today. MJ and I go back a few years, as I'm sure many of you know and have seen him at the community events. And to have the opportunity to work with him on the community side is really a blessing as well. I also go back a little while with Kelly. Kelly was at the organization when I was on the board, an incredible influence on the growth of this organization, although she went away for a period of time. So blessed to have her back in the COO role. She does an incredible job, and we're blessed to have her as an organization. And I know all of her team members would reiterate that statement as well. So look forward to spending some more time with Kelly and her organization. Great board of directors. This is, again, something I served on for a couple of years with MJ. MJ was the chair I think when I got kicked off, I'm not sure why that was, but well, maybe that'll come up in the Q&A. We can ask them together. But no, we had a 3-year term on the board, and again, blessed to serve. And what an incredible group of people we have on our board of directors today. Um, quick things like Tony Clayton-Hine. I hadn't seen Tony in probably near a decade, but I did a Channel Masters program that she ran back in 2005 with her. So some of the people who helped shape my career and had a huge influence on our industry are on this board, and we're just blessed to have them guiding us and providing feedbacks for the entire community. So what are we looking to do? What is the board and your leadership team here at GTIA and feedback from members really gotten us to? One of the things I wanted to share was something that is common for me and the businesses I've owned and operated and run is to set core pillars. And for GTIA, we've defined 4 of them. First and foremost, it's people, not only the internal staff and team members here at GTIA, but the people of the community, the people of influence, the people who participate, and those who don't. It's so important that we understand our industry ultimately is all about the people. Second is resources. It is incumbent on us and our responsibility to work with members to provide you with incredible resources that you ask for, that you need in an unbiased fashion, and we look to increase and enhance that moving forward. The third is community. This is the cornerstone of what GTIA is all about, is coming together as a community, as peers, even as competitors, to talk about how high tide raises all boats. And the last is advancement. This is something we're really leaning into. Advancement in career, advancement for your business, advancement for the value you deliver to your customers. We really want to be providing some, transactional items and thoughts that you can say, this is what I got out of my membership at GTIA and how it helped me personally or my business. The methodologies and sort of processes that we're looking at here at GTIA. How do we engage more broadly with the global community? How do we educate and share? How do we build and inspire? How do we recognize and promote? And this is one of the I'm so much looking forward to next week. This is an area that we're really going to lean into even more. It is recognition of the membership and promotion of the great work our members do. And again, that advancement, some tangible outcomes on how you can grow as a person, grow personally inside your career, grow for your business, leverage the resources that are available to us to help you grow. So some of the additional themes we're looking at is we want to strive to be where the IT channel connects and grows. And we feel we do that today, but we can do that on a broader and more impactful scale. So where the IT channel connects to grow can be viewed as a vision statement for us. The next one is some of the key themes that we're really leaning into on a mission side to advance the people and businesses of the global IT channel with trusted, unbiased resources as an inclusive community that truly does drive growth. And what we're really blessed by is, together with our members, the ability to give back through thoughtful, impactful, charitable initiatives that shape the future. We'll be announcing at ChannelCon and other events the amount of dollars that we're able to present and provide on the charity side that will drive our industry forward. The other is some of the core values and areas that we're focused in on. And I want to read a couple of excerpts. I know there's a lot of words on these slides, but for us, it's vitally important that these messages be shared with the community and shared back to us. So first is an overall vision of being member first. We exist to serve you, our members. Everything we do starts with member value and your success. Be growth minded. Okay, we are looking to always embrace innovation, adapt to change, lead with curiosity. This has been at the cornerstone of our industry because of what industry we are in. We are all about new technology, new business models, new way of interacting with each other. And certainly in this day and age, this is no less the case with the advancement of AI, cybersecurity continuing, and so forth. Building together. Collaboration is critical. This has been at the cornerstone of my 30-year journey in this industry. And for many of us, I think you echo that statement. So we need to collaborate as a team, as an organization, and drive better outcomes for each of our members, each of your businesses, and for the entire industry. As well, we need to be inclusive in culture where every voice is heard and valued, and we act with integrity, transparency, and accountability with everything we do. The last is the intangible. It is about sharing the vibe. It is about sharing passion and interest and positivity and enjoying the ride along the way. This has been something that's I've certainly leaned into my entire career and paid dividends. But we need to enjoy this incredible journey I think we're all on here at GTIA together. The next is a little more tactful. We challenged internally ourselves to look at what do our members want? What can we deliver to you? What does being a part of GTIA mean? And we really boiled that down to some tangibles that we want to lean into in the future. What do the vendor side or those who provide services, applications, cyber, SaaS, whatever it is, to the IT SP community? Well, they want data, they want research, they want exposure, they want event interaction, partnerships, relationships, recognitions, and integrations. And these are core themes that you're going to see us lean into even more here at GTIA. And for the ITSP community, the MSP community, this is, again, where I've spent the majority of my career, understanding the resources, the education, the events, the need for community to collaborate together, thought leadership, benchmarking, and the peer-to-peer contact that really does drive and is the lifeblood of our industry. The ability to share best practices as technologies continue to change, as business models and geopolitical influences are happening all over the world. It's important we come together and have these conversations. The G7 summit happens to be just a few hours away from me here where I am in Vancouver this week. So again, on a global scale, it's important we come together as well as regionalize and have these conversations of what's impacting. So what have we been doing a little bit? Well, again, last week was a busy one. I thought week 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of my journey here at GTIA was busy. Well, last week eclipsed it. We were off at PAX 8 Beyond in Denver, joining 4,000 of your counterparts in the IT services community. An incredible time, an incredible opportunity to come together, both as a team. We worked with incredible groups of media. I'm blessed, and I think we all are, by the interest and the support by the media and the membership around the globe on what GTIA can be moving forward. The member engagement last week was incredible. Carolyn and April and I did a ton of interviews on state of the market and where we're going and some of the new research papers that are coming out, and got feedback. This media section we have inside our industry is incredibly insightful. They're not there just to ask generic questions. They have influence, they have impact, they have ideas. They are talking to as many or more inside of our industry than we ever get a chance to. So having these relationships is incredibly important and provides value back to all the members. And that continued with all of the seat after the announcement. I will tell you that one of the things that was incredibly humbling and I think vitally important for GTIA was the overwhelming response was we the community are thankful that somebody who has at least been in the channel for a long period of time, has a lot of gray hair, is the one joining this organization. Our commitment to you in the channel is absolute. We are all there. MJ's done it. Kelly has done it. All the members of the team, incredible resource, I think, to bring forward for the industry. We're starting to do some brand new things. Carolyn and I had the opportunity to go down and meet with Jay McBain from Canalys in a studio. And we spent an entire day talking with two, arguably the greatest analysts in our industry between Jay and Carolyn. And it was humbling to even watch them on camera and talk about research and talk about the impact. And this is some great content that we're going to be excited to deliver to you. if you can get through where I interrupt these two smart minds, just fast forward through that and get right to Jay and Carolyn, because incredibly impactful conversations. We're also expanding our reach and our opportunities. So to be able to have an interview with Tiffany Bova and to join an incredible event that's coming up pretty quickly if it hasn't happened already, being hosted by Michael Dell. And this is the kind of exposure and insight we want to bring back into GTIA. And we're in North America, and Catherine talked about the great events we've got coming up in Europe, including next week. But we've got ChannelCon coming up here fast and furious. I have attended ChannelCon for the last 20 plus years, or as long, frankly, as it's been in existence when it was called a breakaway. I am also well known in my country, in Canada, missing the August 1st long weekend, which is a tradition here in Canada, because I was always at ChannelCon. And it's been vitally important to do so. And this year, we're super excited to host our first ChannelCon under the GTIA brand. And the team is making incredible plans for this community, and it's also going to be echoed in what we do in EMEA. And the one big announcement that actually you're seeing first is our Channel Visionaries panel. We have some of the best, brightest, and most established leaders in our industry joining us in Nashville at ChannelCon to do a Channel Visionaries panel. Our agenda is absolutely jammed with great content, with great value, with great breakout sessions, with great keynotes. But to get Austin McCord, the founder of Datto, Chris Day, ScalePad, TopDown, and all the businesses that he's run, including one of the world's largest MSPs, Jason McGee, former CEO of ConnectWise and now CEO of Cynet, Nick Heddy. Again, this team at PAX 8 put on an incredible event next week and are doing incredible things globally, and they can share. And we are blessed to have the brand new CEO of Kaseya joining us for her first ever global exposure into the channel. So we're excited to have her, and she's excited to join us at CompTIA. Those conversations have been incredible, and we look forward to bringing them forward as well. Last but not least, we're doing a lot more with hosted partner events at ChannelCon. Again, as a former 20-year vendor myself, working with tens of thousands of IT service providers throughout my career, one of the things I think we could add value was making better connections between the vendor community and the ITSPs in attendance. And we're trying to do that with hosted partner events that we're going to be announcing this week as well. So we are super excited for ChannelCon, super excited for next week, as well as EMEA ChannelCon. It'll give us a little more runway to plan maybe even some bigger things at ChannelCon EMEA. So we hope you join us there. And with that, partner in crime here, as I'm sure you all well know, again, blessed to work with MJ. Funny story. MJ and I go back a little bit, and as I shared, but one of the things I'm most proud of is I got to be asked. I was off the board, I think, even at the time, but I was asked to join MJ and former CEO Todd Thibodeau to do the first ever Member of the Year award. So there are pictures of MJ, myself, John Tippett, who is the recipient of the Member of the Year award, and Todd giving that. So, and we're excited to do that award coming up at ChannelCon. But it's kind of full circle for us, MJ.
It is indeed, Dan. You're a tough act to follow. Yeah, look, we're so lucky to have you as our CEO, and I'm not just saying that, even though technically Dan worked for me at one point in time, now I work for him. This is kind of becoming a pattern for me, because I was, as Dan said, I was chair of the board under the CompTIA structure, and our CEO reported to me, and then after I was off the board, he recruited me to come in and fill this role, and then I worked for him. So I seem to have this interesting habit. But good afternoon to everyone. Goedemiddag to our Benelux members. Guten Tag to our DACH members. And Marino, I see you way down there in the Mediterranean from Italy. So ciao, my friend. It's great to see the representation here today. Just absolutely terrific. I'm just going to say just a few things about our global community, just reinforce some of the themes that Dan said. But yeah, it's I have a pinch me moment every day when I come to work, and Dan and I have known each other an awful long time, and he may not know this, but over my 20 years running my own MSP and another couple with going through a couple acquisitions, he shared some nuggets with me that were instrumental to my career. So it's an awful lot of fun to get to work together and focus on the same goals in helping our members here under GTIA. So if you don't know, we are structured around 6 global regions: the North America community, which encompasses the United States and Canada, UK and Ireland, the Benelux region, the DACH region, which is Germany, Austria, Switzerland, ASEAN, which is a little bit of a complex region. It's South Pacific, Asia Pac, but it's the way I've come to describe it is it's an economic bloc of 10 countries between India and Japan, not the Koreas, south of China. So if you figured that out, good for you. But there is a list online. And then, of course, our ANZ community. And I'm excited that in the next, we're leaning into our global regions even more. Under GTIA, we're going to focus more on localization, on local resources in the region, be they partners, be they additional staff. We hope in the next 30 days to announce our new Benelux community manager. Katrin has been doing double duty for us over the last many, many months, looking after both communities. And we think it's only fair to let her focus on her native DACH community and not stretch her too thin, even though she's one of the most capable and amazing community leaders that I've ever had the pleasure to work with. Okay. So that'll be a fun announcement. And more to come. You'll see more happening, but we're really going to focus on maturing these 6 regions. And yes, we will expand. Dan is committed to our global expansion. You will see us in additional regions. If you have ideas of where those regions should be, Marino, I know what you're going to say. So we've already got our eyes on the med. But if anyone else, has ideas, definitely do let us know. But you'll see more to come there. And then I just wanted to talk very, very briefly about our member first mindset. And we truly are. Dan said it, I've said it. If you've seen me at meetings around the globe, if you've talked to our community managers or other members of staff, we want to hear from you. We want to make sure that we're focusing, using all of the tools and resources that we have at our disposal to build impactful, meaningful benefits for you, our members. That's why we're here. We're here to serve you. You are our only customer, and we do it to help you, as Dan said, individually and as organizations really advance your careers, your businesses, help your customers achieve new levels of success. That's what we're all about. We may be a nonprofit, but we understand all of you are in business to make money. And we want to help you do that in good, creative, innovative ways, help you stay ahead of technology trends and developments without getting lost in the hype cycle, which can end up costing you a lot of money. So, data, research, education, on it goes. We will continue to double down on the benefits that we hear from you are most important to help you individually and as organizations. And we've got a lot of member recognition programs that we do as well. So, you can see some pictures here from some of our Spotlight Award winners. Katrin mentioned we have our Spotlight Awards coming up in the UK and Ireland region in just a week. We'll have our next Spotlight Awards in the ANZ region in the fall. We'll be announcing our newest member of the year at ChannelCon in just a month. So lots going on, and we're so grateful to you, all of our members. And then I'm excited to share one nice little announcement for you, which is that we have formed what we are calling our Global Leadership Committee. And this is really representative of you, our members in your regions. The chair and vice chair of each of our member groups globally will meet twice a year to strategize, to represent the local interests of your region, to help GTIA management and the board chart the best course forward to deliver on all of the themes that Dan has spoken about and that you've heard us talk about for a while. So if you know the chair or vice chair of your global community, of our member champions, our advisory councils, our cybersecurity councils, they will all be gathering at ChannelCon, and we'll be sharing updates after these meetings. They'll meet again toward the end of the year in the December timeframe, but we're super excited about this to really help integrate the global in GTIA. So with that, Katrin, let me turn it back to you and let's see what we've got for some Q&A to challenge Dan and I today.
Catherine, remember, all the hard questions go to MJ. We discussed
Yes.
this in rehearsal. Thank
Of
you.
course.
Welcome to my
We
world.
Appreciate
Thank you.
But we were not going to tell MJ that.
Well,
Okay, so we've got some great questions lined up here. So one question is from Holly. Excited for this year. What's a fun fact about you, Dan, so we can get to know you?
well, that's a hard question.
Ooh.
I'll take it.
Ooh.
No kidding.
What's a fun fact? Ah, geez. I'm born and raised Canada. I enjoy fun fact. Wow, that is a tough question. I'm an open book, and so I am very happy to share anything. I don't know what a fun fact would be onto myself. I love riding on my tractor when I'm not doing everything channel. So give me a pile of dirt to move around with a little tiny tractor, and I'm as happy there as I am at ChannelCon. So there's your fun fact.
Okay, that is a fun fact, I think. So Dan, what is your vision? This is a question from Ticho from the Benelux region. What is your vision for the future of GTIA's board structure? At the moment, it's largely focused on the US, North America, and the UK. How do you see regions like the Benelux, DACH, Asia, or Australia being represented at board level to truly reflect GTIA's global ambitions?
Yeah, completely valid question, and something we are absolutely focused on. As MJ, said, we are focused to global expansion, and that will take forms in all aspects of the organization, including board representation. So this is something. It's a process, and it can't happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight, but it will. We've looked at board guidance and board regulations on how we can roll and what is the terms of those board presentations or representations. But yes, absolutely, the need, the requirement, the desire to expand GTIA globally in all aspects, including board membership, is at the top of our list.
Dan, I think if I could just add to that, one thing that isn't seen by the broader membership are the number of names that come forward for the board. And so, I think it's appropriate to share that this past year we have what's called the Leadership Development Committee that looks at candidates for the board. And this year we did have global candidates. So when I say that, I mean candidates outside North America and the UK and Ireland, because Ticho specifically mentioned that. Now, the reasons why one board member is selected at any given time, that's obviously, privy to the Leadership Development Committee. But one of the things that you will see from us in the coming year, and the Global Leadership Committee that I just mentioned speaks to this, there will be a clear pathway for members to move up in the GTIA leadership structure and put forth themselves as potential candidates for the board. So prior to, I think it's fair to say that it might have been a little nebulous. How does one get considered for the board? We're going to make that a bit more structured and a bit more easy to see how you move through the organization and get these opportunities to participate at different levels.
Yeah, and I don't think there's been another Canadian on the board, and I understand Canada is North America, so I'm not equating that to global expertise. But Carrie Green joined us on the board this year, which I'm super excited about. Known Carrie, runs a great MSP in Canada, and that's again a far cry from where we need to be on a global expansion. But to MJ's point, we're committed to do it, and you will see that transition over a period of time to make sure all members in all regions are represented.
Okay, great, thank you. So here's another question from the DACH region from René. Given the emphasis on people, resources, community, and the advancement of innovative technologies, how does GTIA plan to specifically measure success in each of these areas over the next 12 to 24 months? And What tangible outcomes should members expect to see? That's a tough
Oh,
one. So I don't know.
oh no, that's for me, that's the easy one.
Yeah.
Being asked for outcomes and desired results and tangible, that is actually what I'm all about. I really, this is a conversation we've all had internally. What are the tangible outcomes and that we're providing both for each other internally, but most importantly for our members. I will tell you, it has been not always as simple as it should be as a member of GTIA to focus on those tangible incomes. Those who get it, not enough get it. And we want to make sure that we are crystal clear in defining those outcomes and delivering value to every member. And the only term I would maybe just comment on out of that question was advancement is very broad. It's not only advancement of new technology. Is that a component of it? Absolutely. Are we going to educate and learn and research around AI because that's the new one that we're all dealing with? Absolutely. But it's advancement of everything. Advancement of the member, the person, the business, the outcome, the career goal and path. So advancement, don't think of advancement as only the advancement of technology, which we all get a little bit tunnel vision on. But it's the advancement of all aspects of being a GTIA member. But yes, thank you for that question. Great question. And I can't wait to share the team that one of the questions was, are we focused on some defined outcomes? Because we truly believe in our responsibility to do that.
Okay, we've got more questions. Another one from Ticho. Dan, how do you see GTIA enabling stronger cross-region executive council representation at major international events like ChannelCon, especially for councils outside the US, such as the Benelux? Could we explore initiatives like sponsored participation or structured involvement to amplify global alignment and visibility?
Even though
Yes.
it's addressed to Dan, can I jump in on that one?
Yeah. Please.
I was going to say, Tico, that's you're roaming around inside my head here. This is exactly why we formed the Global Leadership Committee. As I mentioned, it will be meeting at ChannelCon. It will be visible at ChannelCon. We will be introducing the members of the global leadership community to all of the attendees at ChannelCon. And so that is almost to a T that fits your question. This is how we're going to bring the cross-region executive councils together to collaborate and work together with staff to meet the needs of each executive council in each of the regions. And Dan, if you've got anything to add, please do. I didn't mean to.
No, MG, my answer
well, I
was
did
be
mean
yes,
to, but I'm being nice.
My answer was yes, and you covered all the detail on it, so completely agree. Thank you.
Okay, I have one more question from Renee. Beyond the immediate vision, what is Dan's long-term aspiration for GTIA's impact on the broader technology industry and its role in shaping its future?
Wow, really well written questions. Are we using ChatGPT for these, or are these all legit? No, I'm kidding. That's great.
If
great
you want
question.
me to repeat them, I will be happy to.
No, I get it. I really appreciate the insightful and forward looking for this organization. Long term, the quick answer for long term is growth and impact. We've thrown around a lot of words, which I'm known to do, but growth, more for more, is also another thing we've leaned into, and not growth or more just for the sake of being more, but literally to deliver more resources, more activities, more opportunities, and do it for more and a broader spectrum of the IT services channel. I think we have the opportunity to do that, as I talked about, sort of even the 90-day pillars or the 90-day objectives. Strengthening our industry relationships was one of them, and that is well past a 90-day objective, but we need to set the foundation to do that. And whether that is the media organizations, whether that is the distributors who have they were huge participants in the membership, and certainly PAX 8 is, but are there other partners and industry influencers that we don't have the best representation in, or could improve our representation in? That's the area I think that is vitally important. So my answer to your question is more for more. And again, not just being bigger or adding more to the coffer or more to the bucket, but really getting value out of what we're delivering, and expansion. What else can we bring into this conversation community, both on a regional and global level? Because one of the things we're also very aware of, and MJ and I have talked about this a lot, is as we grow globally, we don't want that to also diminish the impact locally. We really do. We're making investments into local regions. Katrin, you're going to get more support and more folks. It's we're working on a lot of time zones here. I now operate just in North America. I operate in 3 time zones every day. And with that's just North America, and then the things that we're doing, obviously on the global scale. So we need to be resourced effectively and efficiently in all regions to provide true membership services and resources inside those markets, as well as look at it from the macro, from the global side, and what can we bring as far as messaging and impact. And hey, I know this may not be relevant inside of your geography today, but it's important to know what's going on in other geographies to either see the future or see the past. It can always add value. So there will be a balance, but the bottom line, as MJ sort of alluded to, we're going to be making more investments regionally.
Mm-hmm. Actually, this is a great next question then. So as GTI members, this is from Frederick. Thank you, Frederick. As GTI members, how can we effectively support the new leadership team in achieving its goals?
MJ?
Yeah, I mean, look, talk to us. That's the most important thing you can do, is talk to us and let us know where we're hitting it and where we might be missing. And as well, help us evangelize to your local colleagues and peers. It's one thing for Dan or Katrin or I to sit here and talk about it. Look, we're passionate. Obviously, we're passionate. Dan and I had a great conversation, not even maybe just even a week ago when we were together, about how for each of us, this is just the right thing at the right time for all the right reasons. Like, we are invested in your success, but we need to hear from more people. So the more it's as I said, it's one thing for us to say it. It's an entirely different thing when our members say it. So, I mean, the best thing you could do is talk to your colleagues and peers, talk to your customers. Let us know what your customers are asking of you and from you, and then how we can help with the myriad of resources that we have, how we can focus what we're doing locally in the regions. We're working on language localization. You've seen us introduce local addendums, appendices to our research reports. You're going to see more of that. You've seen in the DACH region, the meetings are conducted in German now. And that's for a reason. When we started the DACH region, we heard loud and clear that members, while they understand English very well, Germans speak better English than a lot of native English speakers, I have to be honest. But you prefer to do business in German when it comes to the business of your businesses, and we respect that. We went out a couple of years ago, and we're just so amazingly fortunate to find Katrin. And Katrin, being based in Bavaria, is right in the thick of it. She knows the region. She knows the industry in the region. She provides invaluable guidance, and she draws her members in from the local region to also provide that local guidance. You've seen several ask questions. Renee's asking terrific questions. Renee's from the DACH region. Tico's asking great questions. Tico's from the Benelux region. This is what we need. That's the best way you can help us, is to talk to us, engage with us. I'm accessible to anyone, anytime. My email is the simplest email we've got. It's mjshore@gtia.org. You can reach out to me directly. I love to talk to members. We have a suggestion box at gtia.org/suggestion box. Feed us the info. Unlike some, you will hear from a human being. We will get back to you and dialogue with you about what you ask. That's who we are. That's the culture of our organization. But that would be terrific. And Frederick, I saw you mentioned artificial intelligence. We have a handful of AI sessions coming up at ChannelCon. We have an event that, Katrin, I'm going to steal a whisker thunder, I'm sorry, but there will be a ChannelCon EMEA coming up in October. You'll see sessions there, but here's something, if you've known GTIA for our history, here's what's important. We're not gonna replicate, repeat, amplify the hype cycle. We are going to dig deep and focus on where ITSPs, where vendors, where customers are practically applying AI to make a difference in their business. And whether that's in increased productivity, whether that's new services, whether that's revenue generating or investment, we will only talk to you about practical, real world, verifiable things. We don't need to get on the hype wagon. It's everywhere. So that's one of the ways that will help. And in an unbiased, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and it really bookends sort of the two of the core values that we talked about, which is member first, like what MJ talked about. We're doing this for you on your behalf. So what you want, you get. So we don't, but if we don't know what that is, we can't give it. So that's first. And the second is share the vibe. I loved, MJ talked about share with colleagues. That's what we mean by share the vibe, share the excitement, share the resources that hopefully we are delivering and will continue to do so, and sharing that with the audience. And again, holding us accountable all the way back to what are we doing to provide you outcomes and true ROI. Hold us accountable to that as well.
Yep. And then there are two questions that have been out there a little bit that we've been dancing around. I just wanted to quickly touch on. One is, you can meet Dan. You can be the first global members to meet Dan at the UK and Ireland Community Forum and Spotlight Awards in Manchester next week. And Dan and I, something else Dan and I have been talking about a lot lately, we are both committed. And you know that we're true to our word when we say this, because people have seen this with me. We will be in every region at least once a year. So you will get the opportunity to shake Dan's hand, shake my hand, talk to us about anything at minimum once a year, but we'll also be at industry events. So you'll always have that opportunity. And then Otto had asked what happened many years ago when Dan was bounced off the board. It was his Canadian accent. We couldn't understand what he was saying. It was very difficult.
I had to write things down in proper English for MJ, and he kept saying it was misspelled.
We didn't have Google Translate there, right? It's no. Dan, like myself, we both. It's funny the path we've taken, right? Dan came was a vendor member for decades. I was an MSP member for decades. We both had the pleasure of serving on the board at one particular point in time, and yes, our terms did expire, and we had to make room for other smart people. But we made a lifelong personal and professional friendship that is serving us amazingly well as our careers converge right here at GTIA.
So MJ, quick question, also for depending who wants to answer this one, because you mentioned ChannelCon EMEA. And we have a question that's from Paul Kroger. Can we shape the venues that are chosen for the regional events? If we can, how does that need to be feedback into GTIA? How does that need to be feedback and fed back into GTIA? So I would also like to mention, this is kind of like maybe a little bit towards the direction of where ChannelCon EMEA is taking place. It's again in the United Kingdom. Is it going to be on the continent one day? Is that the right kind of direction? I think, Paul, you were looking for. Yeah.
So I think, the simple answer to the question about where ChannelCon EMEA will be held in the future is everything's on the table. And whereas in the past we might have been more refined to where it has been, we're more open now to where it could be. So will you see ChannelCon EMEA on the continent? I suspect you will at some point. I can't commit to that today, but certainly the reason that we rebranded what used to be called our EMEA member conference to ChannelCon EMEA is because we want to really lean into the ChannelCon brand and push that into all the areas where our members are. So our events team is going to look at that. I do feel comfortable sharing that. And, it may not be next year, maybe the year after, but we're certainly open to that. And in terms of providing feedback about locations, I would say the best two options you have is the suggestion box I mentioned earlier, or your local community manager, Katrin, or in the UK and Ireland, it's Corinne. or in well, in Benelux, it's still Katrin for the moment, but definitely your community manager, because they've got the direct line to our events team and to me. And so, yeah, share your ideas. We'd love to have them, and we always like to know where members would like to be. And by that token, by the same token, if you see industry events that you believe GTIA should have a presence at, let us know that too. Obviously, we can't be at every single event, but we try to track them all and pick the ones that it makes good strategic sense to be at. So would also love member input around that. I don't know if anything else to add to that, Dan.
Just the commitment that we are going to be out in market as an executive team. One of the fun facts is I've lived in a Marriott for 4.75 years. I think I'm up to 1,800 nights in just Marriotts alone throughout my career. We are out there, and we plan to be, and taking on this role. One of the conversations I had with the hiring committee was a commitment to be out there and a desire to be out there. I'm at a stage of life where that is even easier than it has been historically. Both my children are out and gone and happy and on to great lives, and my son actually has joined the channel. So I'm excited about that. So we're starting to talk about doing the second generation of channel, because there's a number of colleagues and folks I've worked with who now have kids in the channel. So we may start a whole new executive group around children of channel.
Children of the channel.
Children of the channel.
Sounds like a reality show.
So I do have another few questions here. We've got 8 minutes left, but let's try it. Let's see if we can answer these. So with Paul Croker's question, I'm not sure if you also meant the actual country where it will be hosted, but also the venue itself. But I think that kind of answers what you answered.
I've heard comments about the venue. Should we address the venue, MJ? Because I have heard this one before.
Yes.
My partner looked it up. She looked it up yesterday. She said, "This is really actually pretty good." Says, but I have heard this comment before. And I did go and ask, and we talked about it. And it was a part of when the transition was happening, what was available, some of the restrictions, keeping in mind that it takes a year to plan these things and to do it. So yes, commitment to facilities being the best we can possibly deliver, locations to be as dynamic and diverse as we possibly can. We are super excited about what we're going to be announcing at North American ChannelCon of where 2026 is going to be. The team is already looking at to do that exactly. Maybe having it within Heathrow does make sense, because we can bring in more folks who don't have to travel, and we can can come in and do it right in there. But that question has come up, but I promise you a great event, regardless of venue. But we are going to improve and continue to improve the locations we do as well.
Okay, so I have another question here that I want to ask as well, which is, at the moment we have 2 regional meetups per year in the Benelux region. I'm curious, is there a limit on the number of regional initiatives we can organize? Is there room for more, for example, half-day events or additional meetups? Or are there certain rules or restrictions we should be aware of when planning these kind of local activities?
Both MJ and I are shaking our heads. Go ahead.
Yeah. I would say, that I think the best way to answer that is there have never been restrictions. If there were, there certainly are not at the moment, because we want to understand what the regions want, right? It may be our template, if you will, for lack of a better word, is to meet twice a year as a full community and then to have virtual meetings in between. If a given region feels that's not enough and they want more in-person meetings, we can absolutely do that. It may not work for every region. Again, this gets into being a little more locally focused with the global impact. So awesome feedback to have, Tiho. And if we can put a survey out to the regions and ask questions like this and get feedback, we're going to have to, I'll say, fine-tune some of our resources to be able to support this. Right now we're very much tuned around supporting the twice-a-year cadence with the virtual in between, but we can do that. We've got the ability to do that. And if that's what the region needs, that's what GTIA will do.
Member first.
100%.
I think what Tia is referring to, if I'm not mistaken, is kind of these meetups we're thinking of doing, where you just do afternoon events, and it's mainly about connecting, keeping
Absolutely.
relationships alive, and just like meeting and talking about things that are going on in the industry, and not have a
Those are
whole
even,
full day event. Yeah.
That's great, Kellen, because those are even easier. As MJ, like obviously we want to plan, we want to execute, we want to do right things. So if it was going from 2 meetings annually to 3, I mean that's a big,
Yeah.
investment in resources. If it's just doing those kinds of things, absolutely, that we can,
Right.
that's where we're going to be nimble, and make sure that we're delivering. That will not take a year to plan. If you want to start doing that right away, that's a phone call, a decision, and move forward. So that those are the easy ones where we can be being nimble and being react to member first mentality is at the forefront.
Yep.
Okay, so I think the other questions have actually been addressed already from you.
Can't believe
telling us
this went
about-
by so fast.
I know we've only got 4 minutes left, so I would like to say thank you to everyone who joined the call and who asked questions. Oh, there's another one. I'm going to quickly have a one more question, maybe last one. We'll take this one. While Africa is part of the EMEA region, it often receives limited attention within the broader community. Is there a specific strategy in place to develop and strengthen emerging markets, particularly in Africa, where there is a growing youthful population full of potential?
Is that a tough one, Dan? Do I need to take that? Do you want to
No,
take
I
that?
think expansion everywhere and anywhere is at the forefront. So if there is an appetite, if there is an opportunity, that is absolutely something we would look at doing, and Africa would be no different to do that. So that's a great question and something we'll look at for sure.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay, thank you. So I think that brings us closely to the end of this town hall. I would like to, I think Louisa, can you start?
Louisa, ask her to mess up the slides because I'm going to lose our bet. Because I only had to ask her once to move a slide, and I had the over. I had the over on it. She took the under. So
So I just want to point out the events that are coming up in the region, because I briefly spoke about the ones that happened. Now the ones that are going to be coming up, here you can see them. So obviously next week, personally, one of my favorite events, I think it's just amazing, the evening event for sure, the Spotlight Awards of it, and also the community forum. Really looking forward to it. So if you have not planned on joining yet, come and join it, because it might be something that we'll end up doing one day in the Benelux or in the DACH region as well, the Spotlight Awards. So go and check it out. And if you have any, next slide, please. So also ChannelCon EMEA, we just spoke about that, happening in October. Looking forward to seeing many of you there. And then if we have any more comments from you regarding this town hall, any questions regarding your membership, or anything you would like to tell us, please use the suggestion box or the email you can see right now on the screen. And you will also get this recording, so no need to worry about seeing this slide and then forgetting what the email address was or what the suggestion box website is. So you will get the slide, this recording with the slides. And thank you for joining, Dan, and thank you for joining, MJ. I had a great time. I hope everyone else enjoyed it as well, as much as I did. And see you soon.
Katrin, thank you. Great job done by the team. Yeah, late night for many last night, early morning for even more this morning. Appreciate as always, there's a great group of people behind, and Katrin for pulling this together with your team. Very much appreciated. So thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Take care, everybody.
Cheers.